Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to play in their Yandere games and challenge style called Frosted Foxglove and the Faehearts. Let's begin. What's your name? Wyan, because I'm being lazy. Please select your pronouns, she, her. It was a cold winter's night. You had just ventured deep into the woods behind your childhood home. Going too deep into them was something your mother had always cautioned against. You couldn't tell if the rumors or the coyotes were to blame for her warning. You were now cursing yourself for not listening, because now you had no idea where you were, and had no service at that. It's like, wait, why are coyotes here? No, where I am, it's desert. I think wolves over here. You wouldn't help yourself, though. Your mother was sick, and there was nothing more you could do for her. There was an old rumor, however, that if you ventured far enough into the forest, you could find a portal, the one your mother told you about. The portal was supposedly to transport you to a different realm. Many had attempted to cross in the past, thinking the realm was magical. You believe it too. They never came back. You had heard the rumor all your life, but your family didn't treat it like a rumor, nor did your townsmen. They all feared the forest, keeping their children far from it. No matter how much a pet was loved, it would be ran off as if they ran into the forest. But after learning about it, many tourists still try to cross, and will never know if they did, because those who did never returned. Okay, yeah, I figured. You didn't think you were any different, but since your mother is no longer responding, you have no reason left to lose. So stupidly, you went into the forest, veering off the path with no backup plan, and now it was getting darker and darker. The cold was slipping through your winter coat, and you hadn't brought a flashlight. You knew that once the night enveloped the trees, you'll be at mercy of what was lurking behind the veil. Your rooms had begun to age miles ago, and you were beginning to wonder how big this forest really was. You know that you wouldn't be able to stay upright for much longer, but you pushed on, ignoring the bite of the cold. The gentle chiming of the bells behind you grew louder as the wind grew stronger and began to sting your eyes, so you squeezed them shut. The darkness only grew, as did your fear, but you continued walking, the smell of fresh apple pie growing stronger and stronger as you continued. Moments of discomfort are worth it for Mom. You would think, only to have your heartbeat stop pounding for a few seconds, before the fear would take you over once more. The intense scent of apple pie began to mix with the fleshy mold glass, reminding you of peaceful Saturday mornings with your mom, and you began to cry. The warm tears falling down your cold face, leaving behind a trail of melancholic sorrow. You had been holding it together for your mom, but now it's all hitting you like a crashing wave. You had gone this far on the whim of desperation, but now you might not get to see your mom again. You suck in a breath. At least if you stay here, anyone looking for you will be more likely to discover you. So you sit down next to the tree, resting your weary head against the hard trunk. You probably survive 2 more days out here if nothing ravenous finds you. Tears begin falling as fast as your breath heaves in your chest, a mix of fear and sorrow clenching your mind and soul. It's cold. We'll probably die faster in 2 days. Fear of losing your mom, and fear of dying in the cold winter night, never even knowing how close you were to that realm. Suddenly the scent fades, and the chiming bells stop completely. Why are you so troubled? Your mind stops soaring, and your tears cease, eyes spreading open and searching for the source of the voice. They land on a tall, handsome stranger. You can't help but notice he was unusual. The way he carried himself was unnaturally demure, but he wasn't off-putting. He's very handsome, that's why. It was quite the contrary. He was all too inviting. He seemed wise and helpful, and he had no choice but to trust him. I'm lost, and you scared me. Your voice sounded entranced, and you felt your skin begin to tingle and burn, your mouth dry. The particular stranger stood right in front of you, bending down to offer you his gloved hand. Of course I'm going to take his hand. Take his hand. You decided to take it and help him, and he helped you to your feet, helping you hold your balance with your hand on the small of your back. My name's Yeshe. I did not mean to frighten you. I tried to alert you to my presence, but you did not seem to know us. He explained, his voice soft and inviting. You seem to be unwell. Are you from the town? Yes. You have ventured very far from the town. Would you like to accompany me to my house? He paused to think about it. He decided it won't hurt you. He decided it can't hurt. He did come out here with a plan of survival and no thought of how you would return. So you let him guide you, not paying attention to your surroundings as you whisked away. Not that you could anyway. It was far too dark to see anything. The animals grew silent when Yeshe approached you. You've not noticed the silence until now. It was eerie. You haven't told me your name. Can I have your name? Yeshe stated plainly. Tell him your name. You feel safe with Yeshe, so you decide to divulge your name. It's YN. Yeshe looked down at you with a satisfied look on his face. He seems proud of you, almost like a cat bringing home a mouse. YN. He sang, his voice chiming like a handbell. You nod at him, proud of yourself. The trees rustle and the wind begin to become stronger. Rustling trees, desperate to remind you why you were even here. Yeshe? You treed. Yes, YN? Are you familiar with the rumors about the forest? Yeshe's gazed down at you, his eyes zoned in on your face. Yes, I am. You're part of it, aren't you? I came here to pass over. Do you know if it's possible? Why would a young one as you pass over? You break eye contact, gazing ahead of yourself. My mom's sick. You confess the weight of your actions crashing down on you. If you thought more thoughtfully about this plan, then you would have decided against coming out here. You'll still be in the hospital room with your mom. How stupid could I be? You thought to yourself, do you believe you can save her by crossing over? Do you believe you could save her by crossing over? Yes, you tried. Maybe someone can help me if I cross over. At least give me something to help. I didn't think far ahead. Yes, she chuckled and patted your shoulder. You come to the right place for help. He stared plainly, hope welling up in your chest and trying to spill out from your heart like honey. He did speak, the hope far too blazed to snuff out. Your companion leads with relative ease, waving and breezing past the trees. He knew where he was going well. Although the two of you were moving at a sappy pace, the journey there seemed to take hours, making you already tired legs burn. Yes, he grasps your hand tightly, the cold letter chilling your hand. You hadn't realized he knew the forest as well. He lives in the forest. How we not? And he's not exactly human. I could say he's a fae. After what felt like forever, you both had arrived to Yeshe's house. Looking close to Yeshe's face, you noticed that from the moment you met him, he never stopped smiling, almost like he was over the moon. Let's go inside. You need to warm up. He was right. You were on the verge of freezing to death. It's hard to imagine you living too long without Yeshe. It was hard to see in the dark, but you're able to make out two cottages, simply made to look like they were made from dirt. Yeshe opened the door to his cottage and beckoned you inside. It's nice and cozy. You enter, and Yeshe motions towards his rocking chair, nestling in the corner of the small cottage living room. Yeshe had gone to his kitchen, lit a match before lighting a fire in his fireplace. This will warm up the cottage. Allow me to fetch a blanket for you. Yeshe excused himself to another room, grabbing a blanket and brought it back to hand to you. You stepped in and wrapped the fleece blanket around yourself. Thank you, Yeshe. Yeshe probably nods his head at you, smiling as he does. Would you happen to be hungry? Yeshe hummed, his voice sounding like a soft, shaken handbell. Yes, I'm starving. Yeshe grinned down, examining your face before reaching out to his gloved hand to pull your blanket over your shoulders. So, he's just like so sweet. You feel a warmth beginning to fester in your heart, like a gentle ember fanned by the wind. Oh, we're gonna be warmed up. Do you know if anyone can help? Do you know anyone who can help me? Him, by staying with him. As she turned from you and it strides over to his kitchen, pouring water into the pot, grabbing a mix of vegetables and meat from his cupboard. I can help you. He started to lit another match and started another fire on his stove top, the fire flickering to life as he placed the pot over the stove burner. You could help my mother? He said, us, not her. Yeah, she smirked, a small chuckle escaping him from a nasty snort. Yes, I could help her. You smile. The embers in your chest blaze. You hadn't felt hopeful in months. Your life hadn't looked up in a long time. A dead-end job and a terminally ill mom aren't the best combo for her morale. You'd heal her for me? Yeah, she had begun pouring the veggies and cubed meat, and the water was brought to a boil. You watch as Yeshe pours what you assume is seasoning into the pot. He stirs the pot, adding the ingredients as he does, filling the room with delicious scent. Even if you didn't already like soup, you had been starving for hours. Regardless, this soup was going to be divine, because he made it. He'll heal her on one condition. Will we stay with him? Your heart drops. Of course, he wouldn't do it for free. You felt stupid for even thinking he would selfishly help you out. What is that? What is it? What is that? Yeshe continued to stir the pot, his movements hypnotic, like a snake dancing to the tune of a flute. Once I heal her, you come with me. Live with me, or at the very least, you visit every day and stay every night. I think that means. I think visiting every day and staying every night means we live with you. Just saying. You're confused. This is only one? Just one roommate? He couldn't have offered anything better. No bills, no responsibilities. Mom gets better. Assuming I get to still visit Mom. The deal seems a little one-sided. Oh no, it's his side. It's on his side. Completely. I'm assuming I could still see my mom. Yes, you could still be allowed to visit your mom. You would still have to come back here. That sounds too good not to have a catch. That is the catch. What if I refuse? Yes, she had finished making the soup and poured you a bowl, handing it to you along with a spoon. It smelled delicious. The flavor is already ghosting your mouth as I imagine taking a bite. Wait, probably should eat it. Just saying. You brought the spoon to your mouth and swallowed the soup, and it was so delicious you drank it directly from the bowl. gulping it down, not caring how rude the slurping sounded. After you finished the soup, Yeshe took the bowl from you, walking over to set it in the sink, then knelt in front of you. You cannot refuse, Dwayne. You gave me your name. The realization hits you like a truck. Everything about Yeshe suddenly made sense. As your consciousness began to fade, the exhaustion finally catching up to you. Okay, let's see what happens when we refuse to tell him our name, because that was a caveat for him keeping us. Refuse to tell him your name. You shake your head, refusing to give him your name. You didn't know why, but you just felt like you couldn't tell him. I can't help you if I don't know your name. Refuse to give him your name. He refused again, and Yeshe's face fell even more than before. He looked at you with a disappointed expression, but didn't say anything for a moment. I understand, but I cannot help you if I do not know your name. I have to leave you now. He warned you, just like your mom warned you, and now it was too late. You were too scared to even respond. You just sat there, staring at him, as he turned around and walked away. You wanted to call out to him, but you were too scared to speak, and when you tried, your voice came out as a pathetic croaks. Yes, she disappeared into the night, leaving you alone. Your legs began to ache again, becoming weaker by the second, causing you to collapse to the ground. You sat there hoping for a miracle, but there was no miracle. The chiming of the bells returned, and you woke up hoping to see Yeshe walking back towards you, but he wasn't there. No one was there, and the bells were getting louder and louder, but you couldn't see them anymore. See anyone. You're too scared to even look away, so you just sat there, hoping the bells would stop, but they didn't. The bells were getting louder and louder. You were sure that they were right next to you, but you couldn't see anyone. He's just stalking us. He's just right there, ready to pounce. Because we didn't listen. Your ears began to ring, and you felt a sharp pain in your head, but like someone was trying to drill into your skull. The ring in your ears was so loud that your ears began to bleed, and you felt dizzy, disoriented, like you were going to pass out. And you did, fading into the dark night. The last thing you could ever hear was the chiming of the bells, and the last thing you would ever see is the darkness of the forest. Mom was right. You should have listened to her. You should have stayed away from the forest, but now it was too late. Okay, now we're gonna fuse and just a fuse. You fuse, and the stranger face fell. He looked at you with a disappointed expression, but didn't say anything for a moment. I understand the forest can be a scary place, especially at night. I'll leave you alone now. He warned you, but you were too scared to even respond. You just sat there, staring at him as he continued around and walked away. You're never too afraid to even call out to him, and you just sat there, frozen in place as he disappears into the darkness. You're alone again. The fear returned with vengeance. You had no choice but to try to continue walking, hoping to find your way back home. But your legs were too tired to keep going. You couldn't even get up, and you were too scared to stay there. So you just sat there, hoping for a miracle. The chime bells returned, and you looked up, hoping to see Yeshe walking back towards you, but he wasn't there. No one was there, and the bells were getting louder and louder, but you couldn't see anyone. You're too scared to even look around, so you just sat there, hoping that the bells would stop, but they didn't. He's still stalking us. The bells were getting louder and louder. You were sure that they were right next to you, but you couldn't see anyone. Your ears began to ring, and you felt a sharp pain in your head, like someone was trying to drill into your skull. The ring in your head was so loud, your ears began to bleed, and you felt dizzy and disoriented, like you were going to pass out. And you did. Fading into the night, the last thing you would ever hear was the chiming of bells, and the last thing you would ever see was the darkness of the forest. Mom was right. You should have listened to her. You should have stayed away from the forest, but now it was too late. And that was Frosted Foxglove and Faehearts. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and commenting down below, and I'll see you guys next time.